Okay, well, let's get started here. I think we have most people on. So, um, first of all, thank you for joining today. As I just mentioned a few moments ago, I imagine a lot of people are dialing in from their homes and whatnot, and it's much appreciated to have you on today. Of course, hi, Jacqueline from Kamloops. Thanks for joining today. Um, yeah, it's obviously we were planning to do SugarWest in person. Actually, we were supposed to be doing this in Vancouver today. So we were thinking about Calgary yesterday and Winnipeg the day before. So, of course, with everything going on, it's best to take precautions, and I'm glad everyone's doing that. We certainly are here in Vancouver. So, today, this is obviously going to be a little bit of a condensed version of SugarWest. We're not doing the hands-on portion that I know a lot of you asked for. We did a survey last fall with our clients asking them what they wanted to see in a live event, and the part of it was obviously they wanted to know what's new, what's going on in the world of CRM, but they also wanted to get some hands-on training. I do promise you that at some point we will get to that once things settle down and we overcome what's going on in the world today. We'll certainly get back to that. My colleagues here from SugarCRM on the call today, who I'll introduce shortly, of course, they'll be there to support us when we do that as well. So without further ado, we'll get into it to talk a little bit about our agenda. So today, myself, Derek Major, I'm the president of Eligeo Business Solutions. I'll be doing part of the talk today. We also have Zach Sprackett from SugarCRM on the call with us as well. We also have Declan McBride, who's our general manager with Eligeo out of Calgary. He's on the call from Eligeo. And we also have Chris O'Connell from SugarCRM as well. He's a senior product. Oh, Chris, I'm going to mess up your title here. It's a long one. So
just say marketing guy.
The marketing guy. There you go. I think it's senior product marketing director. Is that right? There you go. Senior product marketing director. There you go. Yeah. So thanks, guys, for joining today. Much appreciated. Our agenda today, one of the themes that we've been talking about is customer experience. So the talk that I'm going to give to start off things, basically we've broken things up into about three sections. The first 30 minutes or so, we're going to talk about customer experience. I'm going to talk about some examples as well of how customer experience is being used today and what I'm seeing a lot of our clients asking for as well. So a lot of the consulting work that I do with clients, especially recently, is around customer experience and how to adapt that and deploy that within their organizations. So I'll talk a little bit about that. Then I'm going to hand it off to Zach, and Zach's going to walk us through the SugarCRM roadmap. There's a lot of cool stuff that's happened in the last year. Sugar did a lot of acquisitions last year and launched a lot of new products last year, and these are all things that are really contributing to this customer experience topic that we're going to be discussing today, and that you'll probably start hearing a lot more of going forward. After Zach's wrapped up, I will be jumping in and doing a bit of a demo. So we're going to walk through Sugar Market. So this is the marketing automation side of things. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Sugar Sell and Sugar Serve. There's a number of clients on the call today. So Sugar Sell and Serve are the new products that launched last year, very focused on obviously the selling side of the world and the customer service side of the world. So I'm going to walk through those today so you can actually see those, and I'll discuss some of the features within those products. So it won't be so much of a day in the life scenario, which if you've been on any of my webinars in the past, it won't be a day in the life scenario, but it will be more about feature based and how those things might work within your workflows. And finally, we'll wrap up. We'll have some resources for you to take away. I'll be sending a follow-up email with a number of things around different products, including some products we won't be demoing today. So Sugar Discover, which is from the business intelligence side of things, I'll be sending out some information in video around that. I'll also be sending out a more detailed walkthrough on Sugar Market, just from a time perspective. I don't know if we'll be able to get through everything, so I've kind of condensed it a little bit too, and hopefully there's a little bit of time at the end for a little bit of Q&A. So with that, we'll get right into her. Let's talk about customer experience, CX. So CRM is probably, obviously SugarCRM is an organization that we've personally, as Eligeo, we've been working with since 2012. And myself, I've been doing CRM for almost 20 years now. So this concept of CX is really the evolution of what CRM is, and kind of really it should have been, I guess. It's interesting. A lot of the use cases that I work with when it comes to CRM is sales use case, but when you hear customer relationship management, you don't really hear anything about, it's not really, the term doesn't say sales, and it's really how do you manage better relationships with your clients. And that's really what customer experience, I think, is really trying to drive home. And I saw a quote on what the definition of a customer experience is, and I kind of tweaked it a little bit, but really the customer experience is the initiation and result of every interaction a customer has with your business. So it's really the holistic view of the changing world that we live in now, where everybody expects a much more personalized approach to how they deal with your organizations. So it's not about, I guess, the spray and pray approach, where it's like one message, you put an advertisement on TV that can, might hit a certain demographic. It's the idea now that you need to personalize that message for me. So it has to be what's important to me versus what might be important to another person. So on a more technical level, I take some information from what Gartner talks about. In this slide here, we talk about the outside in and the inside out. On the outside in, this is really the signals and the information that you're getting from your customers. So what's the voice of their customer? What's the personas? I'm going to talk a little bit about personas a little bit later and how to define that. But if we have marketers on the call today, you're probably very familiar with the idea of developing a persona for your marketing initiatives, like who your target audience is. Customer experience is taking that a little bit further. It's not just about marketing anymore. It's also building up personas for your existing customers. So who they are, what their needs are, what are some of the fears that they might have, and what are some of the questions they're going to be always asking, and what are some of the things you need to be anticipating as things are coming up in the future. As well, and that kind of ties into journey. So customer journey or buyer journey is another terminology for that. Is what's the path that they go along to get to you, to work with you, and in some cases, depending on the industry, they may retire out at some point too, because some businesses have the cycle where you sell them something, then they come back, they buy something else, and that continuously goes. But then there's also other journeys too. So it's like defining that kind of piece of the experience and understanding what that is for your organization is important. On the inside piece, it's like how do you manage all of this? So from a marketing perspective, how do you manage it? From a sales perspective, how do you manage it? Et cetera, et cetera. Customer service is probably the biggest thing these days, and that's where I think the customer experience concept is really come into play recently, is because everyone is demanding a much better customer experience than they've ever had before. Although this is a terminology that's used quite a bit today, I think back to my corporate days before Eligeo, about 15 years ago, we always talked about delivering an exceptional customer experience. And that's no different than I think what's happening today, except now there's a real big focus on using systems to get to that. So just kind of playing along with some more information from Gartner. This is some data that came out in January. Obviously, this is probably going to change a little bit given the circumstances. But what, from organizational perspectives, where do they see their spending in customer experience in 2020 looking like? And this is a survey taken last year. And there's a significant, as you can see to the right, there's a significant focus happening on investing more into customer experience. And the reason for that is, as I mentioned earlier, customers are demanding that. And that's they don't want to. They want to feel special about making a purchase. They want to have a way to be informed, but they want to be informed on their own terms and be able to do business with you on their own terms. Oh, got too clicky there. What customers expect. So this is, again, research. I've compiled a few, kind of top 5 things from a number of different research papers. The number one thing is they want you to meet their expectations. They want to have different options in how they can contact you. If you had to, again, we're supposed to be doing a bit of travel this week. If you had to be reaching out to hotel providers or your airlines in the last couple of weeks, I'm sure you tried Twitter. You might have tried Facebook. You might have tried calling them. You might have tried emailing them. You might have tried their website. Basically, customers are asking for options. I think, at least from my experience, I think there needs to be they need to work on the timely response piece, which is the third item here. But that's the interesting part, is you have so many channels as an organization. How do you take care of all those different channels? Because the customers are demanding these different ways to contact you. If you're not on Facebook and someone's trying to reach out on Facebook, that obviously presents a challenge. So how do you manage that? They also want relationships and personalized experiences. So I have a client. I think he might even be on the call right now. But he mentioned to me the other day, it's there's opportunities out there in this landscape for them to provide a better experience for their customers than some of the bigger guys can, just because they've built their business around providing a personalized experience. So trying to find ways to have the right information at your fingertips and be able to talk directly to your client in a personal way is a really important thing. And finally, I think everyone hears this a lot, is they want you to solve their problems. And they want you to do it quickly and efficiently. So what areas are being invested in the most? So these are the 5, again, pulling from Gartner. These top 5 things that are being invested the most. Number 1, artificial intelligence. So think of AI. Think of analyzing data so that you can provide better insights on what your clients are doing, but also trying to predict future behavior using past behavior. So AI is becoming a really big thing. Virtual customer assistants and chatbots. I could have sworn I was dealing with there's another vendor that we dealt with a few weeks ago before all this happened, but I went on their chat site and I started talking to this person. At least I thought it was a person, but turned out to be a chatbot. But there was enough intelligence inside of the system to detect what I'm asking, to be able to give me enough information to the point where the chatbot gets to a point where it's like, I can't really go any further. Then at that point, you can trigger off handing you off to an actual sales agent. So chatbots are something that's starting to become, to be able to give you that personalized experience, but also in a timely manner, as I mentioned in the previous slide. The omni-channel customer engagement. If you haven't heard omni-channel before, omni-channel is basically those different ways of contacting you. That could mean social media, that could mean telephone, that could mean the different social media platforms. So if it's Twitter, if it's Facebook, but being able to handle all these different channels of communication coming in at you. Real-time event-driven application architecture, which is really basically it's what they're saying here is having systems to be able to respond to real-time data. So as changes are happening, you have the systems that can actually respond quickly and inform people to take action as soon as possible. And finally, Internet of Things. If you've followed 5G, the 5G rollout, Huawei's obviously a hot topic right now, especially in North America. But the 5G concept of mobile networks is something that's going to really increase the number of Internet of Things devices and intelligence in that'll be applied quite a bit coming soon, as far as I think of like fridges that can tell you when your milk's running low. All that's kind of tied back into greater systems to deliver that customer experience side of things. So touching a little bit more on the marketing side, let's talk about personas. So as I mentioned, I pulled this from Alexa.com. They're a web research analytic company, and they have a great blog post on personas. But there's lots of resources out there for this. But typically, when marketers set up marketing campaigns, they're defining personas, like who are you targeting. So a lot of people actually name the people that are their personas. So this is a persona of Rachel, the stay-at-home mom. So they're actually defining who Rachel is. They'll walk through here and define the personal background, what their business background is, the challenges and pain points. And why this is important is that an organization is going to have a target market that they're working with. Defining personas helps you drive down a little bit deeper to actually identify who the actual individual you will be talking to, especially in B2B. This is extremely helpful because now it allows you and your sales teams to actually focus closely on who the actual target person is. By defining this, it helps them identify, number one, are they talking to the right person? But number two, it allows them to actually ask the right questions by having a bit of a profile of who that person could potentially be. Is it always going to be 100% the Rachel is going to be the same person you're talking to on the phone? Of course not. But it does give you a bit of a framework to help you deliver and craft the right message for that person. Of course, the target market person. And customer journey, I just put together a little bit of a simple slide here. This is definitely not a complete customer journey, and it's always going to be different for different organizations. That's just how these exercises work. It's no different than defining a sales process for your organization. It could be a little bit different depending what it is. So customer journey, basically we have here along the top is a basic journey of, customer becomes aware, there's engagement, they're evaluating, they're purchasing the product, and then there's the post-purchase. And if I kind of boil that down into what CRM is traditionally marketing, sales, and the service side. So where we see on the left-hand side, awareness engagement, awareness is really an effort on the marketing side. Engagement is then where we start bringing sales in to get involved. And then as that becomes what we call sales qualified lead, it starts getting into the evaluation side of things. And eventually we get to the purchase side, and that's where service is then involved. And service is now part of that handoff so that they get to the post-purchase side of things. So the idea behind customer journey is actually defining and building out what steps your prospect takes to become a customer, and what steps does your customer take to become a lifelong customer is what we're trying to do. So a lot of these charts can be a lot more detailed than this, and should be, to really paint a picture to understand what do clients do in order to become a customer, but become, like I said, a lifelong customer. So what kind of things can help with customer service or customer experience? So what are the type of tools that are out there? So this chart, and there's a second slide to this as well. The first area we'll talk about is a little bit about marketing. So what are some of the marketing tools being used today? So SEO, social media, obviously. If business owners and especially marketing directors always say, okay, we really got to focus on SEO. We need to optimize our pages for the search engines. Social media is running campaigns, making sure we have up-to-date profiles on the social networks that we're on, and actually posting content that's actually going to be relevant to the people we're dealing with. So that's one area. Lead nurturing. So leads and prospects today are a lot more independent than they would have been, say, 20 years ago. Whereas I'm sure if you're out there shopping, it's a lot easier for you to do your own research, to do the Google searches and whatnot, before going out to make a purchase. But what the challenge is for businesses and organizations today is to be top of mind. So this is where lead nurturing really helps to get the right messages out to the right prospects at the right time. So by being able to send out content, whether it's white papers, whether it's brochures, different tweets, different messaging on Facebook, that's all around the lead nurturing side. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that when I do the demo later on. And lead scoring, I'll talk a little bit about that too, is really determining at what point prospects are qualified. On the sales side, forecasting. So using your sales funnel to actually predict what type of flow through you're going to have on your pipeline, allowing management to actually predict what sales will look like. Workflow automation. By using workflow, we can do a number of different things. So we want our prospects to talk to the right person. So if someone's out in a specific geography and they really want to speak to someone in their geography, well, we should be able to use workflow automation to automatically route those leads to specific people and individuals. Or maybe they want someone with a clear skill set they need to be able to deal with, and we would use workflow to kind of target those things based on information we know about a lead. Relationship intelligence. So knowing more about who our prospects and our clients are. And I'm going to talk about that in a bit too. On the service side, I'm pretty excited also. I know Zach will talk a little bit about it. I'll talk about SugarCRM and the service console. So making it easier for service reps to actually talk to customers and pull up information quickly. Self-service portal is also part of SugarCRM, where customers can use self-serve options to help themselves to information without having to call someone. I know that's for me. I like to be able to at least look up things before I make a phone call, because hopefully I can find it faster than I can on the phone with someone. And if I just adding a couple more areas around here on the marketing side, so advanced analytics, so being able to measure and actually understand if things are working, integrating your systems, so not just having in the marketing system, on one side of the fence, but actually having a nice system kind of wholly integrated. On the sales side is also tying the marketing and systems back into the sales side, but also sharing things like, customer journey, how they're flowing from marketing into sales, and then of course flowing from sales into service. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about a couple of examples around how customer experience is being used today, at least concepts. I'm sure some of you are familiar with some of these things. The first one is measure and analyze. So my team always hears me talk about, again, Canadian analogies. It's always has to do with hockey, right? So I always say, if you can't see the scoreboard, how can you win the hockey game? And that kind of plays into a lot of these best practices, industry known concepts, like NPS is a really popular one we see. But being able to survey your customers is really what it is. We can assume the things that we know about our customer, but really understanding, are we delivering what they want, is a whole different animal. So being able to survey and be able to collect information on your customers and pull that back into a system so you can actually gauge that, monitor that is extremely important. So what a lot of our customers are starting to do is implementing a lot of survey systems. And some of them could be as simple as, say, SurveyMonkey. There is a lot of other systems out there. Qualtrics comes to mind, that are a little bit more advanced, but there are solutions out there organizations are implementing so they can start tracking what the sentiment is of their clients and their prospects as well. So they're using this information to really gauge how well are we doing at different areas, and that also plays back to the customer experience. Are we delivering a good customer experience? And using this is kind of an area that a lot of people are doing today. Timely messaging. So again, I talked about the journey side of things. This is on the marketing automation side. So the idea behind building out your customer journey is not just to say, okay, this is the flow a customer goes through, but you're also using that to help figure out, are we sending the messages at the right time? Like, how long do we know that it takes for a customer to purchase? But also deciding along that journey, at what point should we drop different pieces of information to help them along the way, without them feeling like we're overwhelming them, but also dropping things along the way so they don't forget about us, but we're also helping them make that decision as they go along. So the timely messaging piece is trying to identify what that journey is and what stage of that process they're in so we can drop these pieces of content in. Then on artificial intelligence, I touched on a little bit, but there's a couple concepts around artificial intelligence I think are going to be really important. Sentiment analysis. I saw a demo, actually it was through with one of SugarCRM's clients. It was around sentiment analysis. So let's say an email comes in and that email was to say update a billing address or to update some kind of information on an account. So if you use something like artificial intelligence, what you could do is use that to do a sentiment analysis on that email. And the idea behind sentiment analysis is, does the email appear to be angry? Does the person seem to be happy? Like basically taking a look at what's the feeling of that messaging coming across. So by using that, it could do a couple of things. If the email comes across as angry, you might want to have someone actually call that customer to talk to them. But if it's something they're happy, it's just there's no threat or whatnot, you could probably automate a little bit of that. So you're kind of using sentiment analysis to kind of help make decisions a little bit easier by using something, by doing the analysis on the messaging coming through. That's one area of AI. Then another area is data integrity. So on the data integrity side, we have a lot of data coming in. But what AI can help do is start identifying where there's gaps and deficiencies in the data that we have, and also identifying where we need cleanup or to fill in the gaps where we might be missing information. So we can use AI to help us with that. And finally, as I've already touched on, is predicting the future, is being able to take a look into the future and analyze different patterns of how historical data has been operating, but in using that to predict the future where we might be going. And so I'm just going to wrap up my piece here just on the key takeaways of things to think about when you think about customer experience. Number one is just define how customers can reach you. So creating those different channels and understand what channels they are, and also trying to identify what channels they may want to reach you on. Like I mentioned, like all of us have kind of been going through that. We've had to do cancellations in the last couple of weeks. We've probably been trying every way possible to get a hold of some vendors. How can you make life easier for your customers? Make sure it's easy for a customer to buy and to buy the way they want. Ensure that you personalize experiences. And you can only really do that once you understand who your customer is. It should be simple. It should be easy. Let the customer decide when and how they do business with you. And I kind of toned down this part, but I'm going to say it anyhow. I didn't write it down, but a mentor of mine once told me that you have to make it easy for your customers to complain at you and be a little bit angry. And so make it easy for customers to provide feedback is kind of the key part there. So with that, I will wrap up my piece, and I'm going to turn it over to Zach right now. And Zach's going to take us through the Sugar Roadmap.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Any roadmap for SugarCRM always starts out with a statement about forward-looking statements. We're very confident in our roadmap. We do a very good job of saying what we're going to do and then doing what we say. But anytime we're presenting the roadmap publicly, it's an opportunity for us to gather feedback and to take input from customers and prospects like yourself. We definitely take that feedback and incorporate it to future versions of our roadmap. So our roadmap could change a little bit as we move forward. In general, we're quite confident of being able to deliver on the things that we say that we're going to deliver. So that was a great lead-in that Derek just walked us through, talking about the customer experience. And customer experience is incredibly important to us as an organization. Our corporate vision is that we want to create a before they even realize that they have them. we're trying to answer sort of three key questions on behalf of those customers, right? What are their hopes and dreams? What problems are they trying to solve? And what change are they trying to inspire within their organization? So this vision statement really helps us to define our product portfolio and the features that we're going to build into that portfolio as we go forward. And it leads to our mission statement, right? A mission statement really is about defining our company's business and what our objectives are and helping us to craft the approach by which we can meet those objectives. So for us, our mission is to enable businesses like yours to create customers for life with the world's first time-aware, no-touch customer experience on platform. Let's unpack that a little bit, right? The concept of time is incredibly important when we're thinking about customers for life. Customers engage with us through a variety of different channels, or potential customers and prospects are engaged with us through a variety of different channels. And it starts oftentimes before we even know who those prospects are, right? They're visiting our website, they're doing research and gathering information about our company. They might also enter the net through marketing campaigns and other digital channels. And over time, we start to learn a little bit more about who those customers are, what their preferences are, what they're trying to achieve. And hopefully, in an ideal world, right, we convert that business and they become a customer of our organization. And then our model kind of shifts, right? Where we now have to not just, sell and fulfill the product that they've originally ordered, but we have to successfully onboard those customers. And we have to make sure that we're continuing to meet their hopes and dreams. And we have to support those customers and potentially market additional products and services into them and monitor their health and understand all of those things. So the concept of time is incredibly important when you're thinking about a modern customer experience platform. And there's another key point in there, which is around the idea of no touch. No touch is about making it easier for your employees, your frontline workers, to service all of the goals of your customers and prospects without having to do a ton of different legwork, pulling up information, entering data into a system. We believe that in an ideal state, right, those people should be able to focus on building relationships with your customers and not summarizing information into a tool like a CRM system. So these are really, really powerful points here that kind of drive where we're going as an organization. So digging into that a little bit more, right, there's a few other things that really make us kind of different. The first is the concept of the time-aware customer experience platform. If you think about sort of traditional CRM has really always been good about kind of telling you the state of your business today, right? You look in and you have your sales pipeline, your opportunities that are open. You have a good sense of what business has already been closed, but it's not particularly good at telling you how you got to that point. And it's definitely not good at helping you to understand, based on all of the things that have happened up until this point in time, what is the trajectory for my business, right? What is likely to happen in the future? And this is a key area for us where we're spending a lot of time right now and have a number of new products as well that can really help businesses to understand the details of why are things happening within your business. What has happened previously? How much should I just trust the forecast that I'm looking at? And what is the likelihood that we're going to achieve the goals that we're setting out to achieve? And what are the things that we can do differently in order to influence the likely outcomes that we're talking about? Again, that idea of no-touch information management. We want to do everything that we can to free sellers and customer service agents and marketers from sort of the doldrums of entering information into, I apologize for dogs in the background here, entering the information into the various systems, and we want to do as much as we can to curate that information and give them actionable insights and next best actions that are going to help them to be better at cultivating those relationships with customers. And a key area for us is the idea of continuous cloud innovation. So, we invest heavily in AWS and work very closely with AWS in a true partnership to ensure that we are taking advantage of all of the latest and greatest services. And we're building applications that are, highly tightly coupled with AWS in order to stand on the shoulders of giants, right? It would be very easy for us as an organization to fall into the trap of, going out and building, I don't know, a custom database or our own, sentiment analysis algorithms. But at the end of the day, by partnering with somebody like AWS, we have all of these services that are available to us, and we can focus on surfacing them in a way that leverages our expertise in customer experience and delivering the value that you're trying to achieve right out of the box. And another key point that's really important for us as an organization, and hopefully important to you as customers and prospects, is our lifetime commitment to customers. There are a lot of different implementations of CRM over time that have failed, and have failed for a number of different reasons, right? They've failed because there's a lack of adoption. They've also failed because the vendor hasn't been particularly nice to their customers, with all kinds of hidden fees and all kinds of penalties for being successful. We don't run our business like that, right? Our success is greatly tied to your success. So it's incredibly important for us that we are engaging with our customers and with our partners on a regular basis, and that we're always learning from those customers and helping to be able to support them and delivering on the outcomes that you're trying to achieve. That's a fundamental aspect, a top level initiative that we track in our business because it's so important to us. So again, extending on what Derek sort of said in the lead-in, right? And I know this is a little bit of a busy slide, but let me try and unpack it. You can define customer experience into 5 main functional areas, right? It starts with demand generation, the ability to find new people and discover and also cultivate the buying intentions for those people. And from there, it goes into sales acceleration, the ability to excite and sell to more people and to be able to do that at scale. Moving on to the right, it extends into pipeline management. So guiding people through the process and ensuring that, you're effectively managing all of those opportunities that you have and always driving that business forward, ultimately to convert people into new customers. It extends then into customer success, which is the ability to help customers use and adopt your products, right? Get them onboarded successfully, get them excited. And then obviously, once you have those customers, once they're onboarded, you need to keep those customers happy and loyal. And you'll hear potentially through a number of different channels that customer service is kind of the new marketing. As the world moves towards different forms of a subscription economy, the ability to cultivate existing customers and expand their usage of your products and services over time is incredibly important. So it's not a linear path like it may have been in the past, right? Now it's a kind of a virtuous cycle that keeps repeating. Now, on top of all of those, right, we have recently extended our portfolio such that we have products that support these different capabilities, starting with SugarMarket, our marketing automation solution, SugarSell, our sales automation solution, and SugarService, our customer service solution. And if you take all of those pieces and you put all of the data and the information that those different systems contain together, you have an incredibly powerful time-aware analytics, reporting, and relationship intelligence engine that can tell you really critical answers to questions that you might not even know that you should be asking within your business. Things like, what is my ideal customer? What do they look like, right? How, not just from the, what is most likely to turn from a marketing qualified lead into a sales qualified lead, but in fact, what kind of prospects are the best for us to attract that will later cost us less to be able to service those customers, and are more likely to land and expand within the other areas of our product line. So there's a lot of really interesting stuff that happens when you deal with a vendor that can provide a broad set of services like that, and then takes the time to build out an analytics, reporting, and time-aware layer like we are with our Sugar Discover product line, that allows you to gather insight from all of that disparate data that otherwise would exist in systems that are kind of loosely connected, if that makes sense. So I'm going to walk you a little bit through the product line that we were just talking about there. And for us, it starts with a Sugar Discover. And Sugar Discover is a completely new approach to customer analytics that makes it really easy for you as customers to extract insight from all of the sugar data that exists across your different sugar products. It surfaces the information about what's important now, automatically alerting you to changes in any of the key metrics that you probably care about within your business, letting you know when things are trending above or below target, and helping you to understand when things are performing abnormally compared to historical patterns. And if you think about, you might look at this or hear that description and think about this like a general purpose BI tool, but this is not that. Right, we've taken a lot of AI ML capabilities, and we've built out the idea of insights that can be surfaced to you wherever you happen to be without having people come in and actually stare at dashboards. So on the right-hand side of the screen, you see all of the things that are important that have gone into your pipeline today. So you can see here that the pipeline is 14% lower than what we predicted the minimum should be in order to meet our goals. So there's things that we probably want to do to boost the pipeline in this quarter so that we can meet our organizational numbers. You can also see that we've automatically pulled out the sellers who have the most opportunities, and also the people on the lower end as well, so that you can work with them to help to bolster the business appropriately. And all of these insights obviously are available as you're looking at graphs and charts in Discover, but we also surface them in the mobile device as well. So pushing these to you in a proactive manner such that you can automatically receive these insights and triggering you to then go in and take a look at why that is happening. And of course, providing you with all the tools to really understand how and why that is occurring in your business. And again, while this starts with sales today, while the initial Discover product is really targeted around the sales portion, we are expanding that to include the marketing data as well as the service data, giving you that insight that spans the entirety of your business. And this is something that is completely new in the marketplace, and we're so excited about. We just recently launched this year. On the sugar market side, we have a very full-featured marketing automation platform that allows you to capture people that you don't understand, that you don't yet have a relationship with, who are visiting your website, and gather information about them over time. There's complete web analytics that you can deploy to all of your existing web properties. There's the ability to build pages and forms quite simply and publish those out. The ability to import contacts from physical events that you might do, like trade shows or webinars, and then also the ability to build out social campaigns and push them out through a partnership with Octopost. Once you have those contacts captured, we have the ability to nurture those contacts in different ways, right? Segmenting lists as appropriate, building out those different personalized campaigns that go out to those different segments. We have email and nurture builders that allow you to build out that prospect journey, and the ability to schedule events and conduct events directly from within the Sugar Market platform as well. We have really amazing lead scoring capabilities as well that allow you to score not just at the lead level, but also at the account level, which is really important for customers who are deploying in a B2B space, to be able to gather all of the different things that are happening at the account level with different people who are interacting with your web properties or downloading white papers or all of the things that they do, and aggregate it up and do scoring at the account level. And we also support the ability to have multiple different scoring profiles, which is something that is quite different in the industry today as well, allowing you to have different rules that apply based on different scores, and have those scores calculated in different ways for different things. So it's quite flexible from that regard. One of the next things that's really important is alignment between your sellers and your marketing organization, right? The ability to manage contact and leads and have them flow seamlessly between the marketing platform, SugarMarket, and then the sales automation platform, SugarSell. We have excellent ability to move data back and forth and provide visibility, not just on the marketing side, but also providing visibility to sellers of exactly the journey that particular prospects have taken and what information and collateral they've interacted with. Really building out that buyer's journey and ensuring that you have a good understanding of what has occurred to get people to the point that they're at. And then, of course, really great capabilities for measurement as well. One of the most important things for marketers is the ability to understand exactly, the ROI from all of the different channels and the impact that all of the different channels that they're engaging with their customers and their prospects have. So we have some great capabilities in the product for doing advanced analytics and custom reporting and building out dashboards that can be shared by marketers. But also, when you couple in Sugar Discover, the ability to build those reports that span not just the marketing information, but all of the information that happens after that lead is passed off from marketing into the sales organizations. Being able to report on that as a whole, all the way through to the customer service side of things. One of the other things that we have in SugarMarket that is a real differentiator for us is we have the ability to help stressed marketing organizations to extend their staff through some partnerships with us and with our partners like Eligeo to help to build out some of these campaigns and help to build out some of these nurtures. I know as things are kind of tight right now and everybody is dealing with the unknown, this service is incredibly valuable to marketing organizations who are kind of feeling the pinch and trying to get more done with less. So really great product for those kinds of things. Now, extending into the sales automation platform, SugarSell, this is a complete offering that has all of the capabilities that you would expect: lead and contact management, activity management, so being able to schedule all of your calls and meetings and record all of the information that's happening in those calls and meetings, manage all of the opportunities that exist within your organization and surface those up in the form of forecasts that roll up not just from an individual but through the management team as well, so that you can build sort of a holistic global forecast for your business. It has an incredibly powerful workflow engine, Sugar BPM, that can be used for everything from simple rules all the way to really complex approval processes that might exist within different organizations. It's a nice visual tool for building out workflows that support your business. Collaboration capabilities as well. Within SugarSell, you have the ability to collaborate around opportunities and have conversations where you're tagging other people and having internal conversations that are associated with those records inside of SugarSell. And those can be used in the future as well to see, what were the steps that something progressed through, or who were the different people that touched a particular opportunity within your system. Great CPQ capabilities, so the ability to generate quotes for your customers, product catalog, the ability to pull items in from your product catalog. And also a really new feature that we're really excited about, the ability to build your businesses around recurring revenue. So we now support subscription-based offerings, things that have a defined start date and a defined end date. And SugarCell will actually automatically create renewals opportunity for those types of items. And this could be things like software, but it's also often used for things like professional services or things like accounting and taxes and those kinds of things, right? Where you want to be able to reach out to those customers and try and sell them that business again on the next year. Sugar will actually automatically create those opportunities into the future such that you're building out your future pipeline. And we're doing this completely without any touch by your users. And of course, reporting and analytics, because we all need to be able to answer questions based on how our business is performing. On top of that, we have a product called the Hint Insight Service that allows us to learn more about prospects or contacts from just a name and an email address. So, I could be assigned a new account, or I could be assigned a new lead, and I can enter in very, very minimal amounts of information and have all kinds of wonderful info that is pulled together in Sugar from various different data sources that we partner with, and it saves myself as a seller. It saves me hours of research before I go into a call. And it's not just pulling information about the individual and their background or the company and their size and what industry they're in, but it also has the ability to proactively pull in company news, press releases, funding, personnel changes, all kinds of great helpful information that can help me to have a really successful interaction the first time that I have a conversation with somebody. And this information, it's not just available to you when you're looking at SugarCell, but it could also be delivered proactively through configurable alerts, browser-based push notifications, email or email digests. And it also pulls in all of the relevant social information for the companies and the people that you're interacting with. We also have the ability to build out customer journeys within SugarCell. So these are choreographed views into all of the different interactions and touch points that you have with these prospects during the sales cycle or during the support cycle. And these are, this is a visual tool that allows you to build out that ideal engagement with your organization that ensures that you're not missing any steps. And it's an excellent tool to help your sellers or other people in your organization to know what the next best action is to take when they're interacting with a particular customer or prospect. Leveraging best practices that you've built up over time within your organization and enforcing that in all of the different interactions that you have with your customers. There's another tool called Sugar Connect that allows you to surface all of the great information that exists within Sugar directly in your email client. So this supports Office 365 as well as Google Suite, and it allows you to inline as you're sending email and interacting with prospects or customers to pull in and access all of the rich information that exists within Sugar. Again, if you think about no touch, right, this is helping users to be able to access all of the information that's pertinent and important to them without causing them to break out of the flow of the email that they're trying to send to a customer. It also provides the ability to automatically synchronize those emails directly into SugarCell as well, so that can be used in the future to get a current state of where an opportunity is and made available to other people within your organization. Sugar Connect also provides some great capabilities as far as being able to schedule interactions or meetings with your prospects. There's a nice calendar view that you can send to your prospects that helps them to select a slot within your available time. Saving you all those kind of awkward back and forths that we all have to do with our customers in order to get something scheduled, right? Are you available on Tuesday? No, I'm only available on Wednesday. This gives people access into your availability so they can select a time that works for them, and then automatically handles all of the scheduling. Of course, there's also great capabilities on the mobile device. We have an industry-leading offline client that allows you to access information directly from CRM wherever you happen to be, even when you don't have an internet connection. You can continue to interact with Sugar from the mobile device, and when you get back online, those changes will automatically be synced up into Sugar, which is incredibly powerful, especially in times where we, not like right now, but in times like where we're traveling and we happen to be on a plane, we're trying to get work done, we're trying to prep for a meeting that we're going to go to immediately when we get off a plane. This is incredibly powerful capability that helps you to seize the opportunity wherever you happen to be. On the service side of things, we have a new product launched this year that is incredibly powerful for helping to service your customers. And it's kind of a new paradigm on service. It's built from the ground up on the concept of service level agreements. Providing you with the ability to understand what actions your agents can be taking such that they're meeting on your organizational goals, right? Service level agreements are really your commitments to your customers about how you're going to handle the cases that are coming in, when they can expect a response, how long cases are allowed to be open. And the idea is that SugarServe takes all of the information in the service level agreements that you define and automatically applies them to cases, and then routes those cases to agents so that they're able to work on the next best action. Taking all of that thought process out of the hands of the agent and automating that so that you're able to deliver on your business goals. And SugarServe supports multiple business centers. So if you have different support centers around the world with different hours, we handle that out of the box. And it choreographs a lot of those interactions, again, using out-of-the-box Sugar BPM templates that handle which agents take which calls. There's an interaction history, all of the collaboration that I was discussing that existed within SugarCell. It also exists in SugarServe, and you can collaborate across those different use cases as well. There's a self-service portal, which contains knowledge management. So, when somebody like Derek comes up to the website and starts entering in some information because they might want to raise a support case, automatically surfacing that knowledge that exists within your organization such that the person might be able to help themselves and get to a resolution for their issue before they even have to talk to an agent, which really helps to increase your customer satisfaction. And then, of course, reporting and analytics as well. And from there, we'll jump over to here and talk about where we're going from a thematic perspective, right? So on the marketing side of the business, one of the things that we're trying to do right now is to internationalize our product. Our marketing automation product today supports, SugarMarket today supports sending emails in whatever language you would like, but the interface itself is only available to marketers in English. So we're extending that into our standard core languages so that it'll be available in languages of your choice. Adding in additional channels like SMS and chat, being able to bridge into additional channels. We are deeply integrating with the customer data platform that we were talking about earlier that's going to allow you to see all across those different use cases and be able to build reports that understand not just what's happening in marketing or not just what's happening in sales, but over the entirety of your business and help you to identify the ideal customers that you want to be marketing to and attracting that will ultimately be the most successful as you move along in your business. Marketing attribution capabilities, so being able to understand exactly what channels have the highest ROI so that you can continue to invest in those and understand all of the different channels that contribute to ultimately what is a successful conversion. We're also pulling in a lot of our data sources that exist within sales today in marketing automation to help to augment that data and learn more about customers before they ever have to enter anything, right? Giving you a more complete view on the marketing side of the business of exactly who you're interacting with before you hand off to sales. And then also surfacing anomaly detection and next best action directly in marketing as well. On the sales side of things, we're going to continue to support those recurring sales models that we were talking about. So we've already automated the renewal pipeline and added some abilities to automatically co-terminate upsells. So if somebody comes in, halfway through their contract and says, hey, I want to buy another 3 users, I want to buy some different support services, have those automatically co-terminate with the contract that you already have in place. Being able to prorate add-on sales is another area that we are going to be adding over the upcoming quarter. And then, predicting as well upsell opportunity creation. So today we're focusing on creating opportunities for the things that people have bought that are expiring. But in the future, we're going to be using predictive analytics capabilities, leveraging AI and machine learning to help to give upsell opportunities for additional products and services that the customer has not already purchased. We're working on our forecasting engine as well, providing additional insights and predictive forecasting there, and surfacing customer health, which is incredibly important to that idea for customers for life, as well as augmenting our territory management capabilities. On the service side of things, we are going to be bringing additional intelligence into our case routing. So really understanding the skills of a particular agent and helping to route the case to the right agent who is most likely to be able to deliver a happy outcome to your customers. We're going to be surfacing additional channels such as chat and SMS, and building out more conversational interfaces. That whole blended bot-human interaction, you can expect to see that surface for us in our service product. Providing additional tools for your agents to be able to research similar cases and provide suggested knowledge articles to customers. And we're going to be expanding on our voice of the customer capabilities by implementing Net Promoter Score and effort scoring on behalf of your customers, so that you can really track the interactions that those customers are having and understand, are we delivering those positive outcomes? Are we creating those customers for life? And then adding in community capabilities as well. So hopefully, I've been able to show you the entirety of the Sugar Customer Experience Platform, where it exists today and where we're taking it in the future. And I've also surfaced the 4 pillars that are incredibly important to our business in the form of the time-aware customer experience platform, no-touch information management, continuous cloud innovation, and our lifelong commitment to our customers. And with that, I'll pass it back over to you, Derek.
Great. Thanks, Zach. That was great. Okay. Well, let me just pull up my screen here. We're gonna get into demo time. Double check here. Hold on. Zach, do you see my screen? You should see the email builder.
Yes, sir.
Oh, great. Thanks. I once did a webinar 10 minutes in and someone said, Derek, we can't see your screen. So I check once in a while. Okay. Yeah, thanks. That was perfect. As everybody can see, there's a lot of new things coming down the pipe and in place right now for Sugar. So as a partner, we're pretty excited about sharing some of these things with our clients. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to get into the demo piece. So I'm going to touch on a few things that Zach talked about. Just for time's sake, I'm not going to do full demos of every product, but I want to, like I said at the outset, I want to just hit on a few feature stuff just so you can kind of see it. So I'm going to talk about Hint. I'm going to talk about you're looking at Sugar Market Campaign Builder right now. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And we'll talk about how it all kind of fits together, and then we'll leave a little bit of QA at the end. And like I said at the beginning, I'll have some videos and more content. When we do the SugarWest in person, and again, once we get those set up, I hope everyone will be able to make it. We will do it very interactive so that you'll actually get hands-on learning on how this all works too, versus me just walking through it. I find people get a lot more excited being able to just try it out versus just guiding through it. So what I'm going to do now is just going to walk through a couple scenarios. So first up, I'm logged in right now with Sugar Market. If you have an email tool, there's kind of 3 levels, I guess. I'll step back before I get into this, but there's 3 levels of email marketing I always think of. The first level is someone blind carbon copies everybody, which is not a good idea anymore. Turns up as spam and whatnot. And it's just hard to manage. The next level is kind of your constant contacts, your MailChimps of the world. And then you get up to the marketing automation level, which is something like Sugar Market. And it's not just sending email out. It's actually tying in all kinds of signals, not only from email, but also from your website and from your CRM, and other data sources. So you actually get a full picture of the interactions you're having. You'll see a little bit of that as I go along here. So creating an email campaign, we're just going to create, we'll just call it a SugarWest campaign. And I'm just going to go in and throw this in a folder for test. And this is actually our live instance. So we use this for all of our email marketing, all of the event management that Zach talked about, all the registration for SugarWest in Winnipeg, Calgary, and Vancouver was actually run using event management inside of Sugar Market. So this is our test email campaign. And I'll just drop my name in here. From there, just the standard unsubscribe settings, especially in Canada with Castle. You can also tie this back into Google Analytics if you want to do any cross-referencing with that as well. So let's just click along. So this wizard takes you through a few steps. You can see the steps along the bottom here: set up, type, bill, the recipients. Right now, it's like, well, what kind of email do you want to send out? So you can actually have predetermined templates. You can even load in your own templates inside of Sugar Market to start off with, or you can just start from scratch. So we could just pick one like this. And if that's the one we want to start working with, we can just click next, and that'll take us now into the email builder, which is just a WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. Editor where I can go and edit, change pictures, and do whatever I want. So if I click on the image up here on this template, I can either upload an image from my computer. I can also pull it in from the asset library, say a logo, and I can just dump it right in here as well, and start filling out the rest. So these are all blocks. It's really easy to drag blocks over. On the left-hand side, you'll have a few different options here. So I could open up different rows and different widgets I can drop in, whether it's a button like we have down here, spacers or whatnot. So literally it's just drag and drop as I need to move stuff over and just drop it in here. So if I want to go in here and give it a header, and I won't be sending this out, so I'm just going to throw some stuff in here. But if we want to go and actually give it like a heading or whatnot, just like you would in any word editor or anything like that, and you can fill this out. Buttons, if you've all the emails that you've seen from us for registration and whatnot, same thing. We just go in there and we can actually tie what the link is and where we're going to send the link to. And that's all through this editor. Once you're happy with that, you just click next and move along. And that's where I can go in and start picking who is going to be included for the marketing lists. So this will pull in distribution lists that we have inside of our system. So if I want to send it to all of our attendees, I could just drop that over there. If it's our clients I want to drop it to, I can just drop it over there. It's totally up to you how you want to do that. Exclusions, unsubscribe lists. Maybe there's certain customers you don't want or recipients to receive a message. You can exclude them out of the list. Then once you're kind of happy with that, you just go next. And all it is a matter of scheduling. You send it immediately. You send it at a specific time. It's simple as that. So if you've been using something like MailChimp or Constant Contact, this is pretty familiar. Where it gets really powerful on the email side is when we start getting into nurture campaigns. So if we click on the top left here, this gives us a menu of the different options we can work within Sugar Market. So create is where I want to create item. I can either set up ads. So we can actually integrate into Google Ads if we want to bring data from Google Ads inside of the system. We can also set up different lists. We can create new campaigns. We can create a form, different landing pages, and tons of other things here that I'm not going to have time to go through today, but I'll certainly include that in the links. But I did want to highlight one area, and that's the nurture. So what nurture is basically drip marketing. There's two types of nurturing. There's trigger versus drip. Drip is the common scenario is someone downloads a white paper from your website or some kind of article, and they need to the cost for them to get that article is typically a name and an email. And that's how you kick off nurturing. And that's if you ever subscribe for something, that's what's happening, is you're being put into a list to start receiving content over a period of time. Trigger campaign is really, really cool, I think, from a customer service side of things. So let's say we have a customer that is already purchased with us, but they're now going through the process of setting up the product or whatever they might have purchased from you. Now, let's say in the CRM side of things, we go and say, okay, this customer is now active. And what we can do is, because Sugar Market and SugarCRM or SugarCell are connected to each other, we can pass that CRM data back to the marketing tool, to Sugar Market, causing a trigger to happen. And what it does, it puts them into a new marketing list, which is maybe how to use the product better. So now we can start sending instructions. Here's the top 3 ways to use this product. Then a week later, we send them some more tips. You can use that on the trigger side to actually create a really cool experience for a customer. But for now, I'm just going to go and do a test drip campaign just to show you what that looks like. So go next. I can set it up so that I only want emails to go at a certain time of the day. Maybe 8 to 9 o'clock is kind of the time that I think it's best to send emails out. You can do that, or maybe it's only on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. You can set it all up like that. I'm just going to leave the defaults for now. And then I have to pick the recipient. So the way this works is you would have a marketing list inside of Sugar Market, which would be called your nurture list. So this might be new customers that have successfully become active. You might create a list for them inside of there. And anytime you put a contact into that list, they start going through the process of this marketing campaign. So for now, I'm just going to pick a distribution list. We're going to pick the test list here. So hit next. Oh, got to add it in there. There we go. Hold on. It doesn't like how quick I'm clicking through. Well, that's my exclude list. Yep, my bad. Sorry, that was the exclusion list, so we don't want to exclude them. This is very much the same as I showed you on the email builder. So if you want to exclude people from a specific list from a group, you could do that too. So we'll continue on. So now I've created my placeholder for the drip campaign. So we're just going to finish that off. Now what's going to happen is creating a placeholder and taking us into the flow designer. And Sugar does have a new workflow tool coming as well on top of this. But this one's still pretty powerful as it is. This is where we can start building out all of the different steps within a nurture campaign. So I would start off the campaign. That would basically mean a contact has been dropped into that marketing list, that test marketing list, and then they would start getting all of these campaign items. So the first thing that happens is an email goes out. But if I right click on here, this is where I can start doing all kinds of different actions. So if it's doing a drip marketing campaign, let's say I want to send an email out every 7 days. So what I could do is add a pause in here. And what it'll do is say, well, how long do I want to do the pause for? So let's just say, I don't know, 7 days. So 7 days, it'll then drop the pause in there, then I can right click, and then I can go send another email. And this will bring up the email builder again, so I can actually go build out an email. I'm just going to skip that step for the sake of time right now. But I could build out another template, it might be different content. But then I could also start getting a little bit creative too. You can start adding conditions and whatnot. So I could go on here, I can say, did they open the email? Because if they open the email or they click maybe on a specific link, I might want to do a different type of action. So there's a lot of different steps that I could put in there, like a conditional. I could even use data from a CRM. So let's say they did open the email based on whatever email that I sent them. So let's say it was, campaign 23. So what I'm saying here is I sent an email here. We waited 7 days. I sent another email, and then we're asking the question, did they open the email? And if they did, I could go down here, and let's say I want to add a task into the CRM. I could go add a task. And then from there, I can go create an immediate follow-up task. So if it gets all the way down to this flow, we can then create a task inside of Sugar for a sales rep or a customer service person, depending what kind of content we're sending out, to automatically follow up with a task. So we can actually tie a lot of this stuff all together. So as you can imagine, you can get pretty complex in your flows through here. Other things I just want to point out too, on the marketing side, say for prospects, I talked at the outset that it's not just email, there's also website integration. So you can hook up your website with some code that goes into the web page that will track all the web activity back into the into Sugar Market. What that allows you to do is actually detect when someone looks at certain content on the website and start tagging the content. So if someone's looking at a specific product, if you have the blue widget and a red widget on your website, and someone's looking at the red widget quite a bit, you can automatically put them into a nurture campaign specifically on that product versus on the other product. So there's different ways you can kind of use data from also the website and from email to kind of give you a better picture of who your customer is. So I'm going to stop there on the sugar market side. Like I said, I'm going to send out a video that gives you a lot more detail on that. And now what I'm going to do is I actually take you into our Sugar CRM. So we run Sugar Enterprise. So there's various flavors of sugar. We use Sugar Enterprise today. Sugar Cell and Sugar Serve are the new products, which we'll be moving to as well. But we do use Sugar Market inside of Enterprise. So I've created just a sample record here to kind of give you an idea, because I want to show you a couple things is the integration of Sugar Market and Hint. So one of the cool things is the idea behind the integration between marketing and sales is once we've determined that the prospect is marketing qualified, typically we would then push that lead into the CRM, saying, okay, sales rep, we're now ready for you to make the phone call. Because we warmed them up enough and we've actually scored them to that point. And from there, I can start getting a couple pieces of data. First of all, we can see down here I have a landing page, event management, web activity. All of this is our sub-panels related back to Sugar Market. So I can see that this is one of the sample registrations that I was doing back in February, and I can see the data of the registration on there. If I had the web activity hooked up on here, then I would be able to see all the web activity as well. I can also go up to the top here and click on the Sugar Market button, and it'll open up a panel, iframe at the top, and this will pull in data that we have from Sugar Market. And I can do a couple different things here. Don't have a ton of data in here, but you'll see in the video that with more detailed examples. But I can see all the activities of opening and closing of mail as well as web activity. I can also see what lists I belong to, so I can actually add people to different marketing lists. So if I have a customer on the phone, they say, hey, I'd really like to be on, I want to get all the newest product updates, I could go in here and add them to a product update distribution list. So we'll just go add it to this one. I can also send an email from here. The idea of sending an email from inside of Sugar Market is not the same as sending an email right from Sugar. The reason why you would do it through here is because it ties back into all the data that we have from a marketing perspective. So you can actually start, again, continue to build a picture out of who a customer is. So I could go in here, we have templates loaded in, so I could go and find a new lead template, and I can drop a template in and actually send an email directly from inside of Sugar CRM. And last but not least, there's also the nurturers. You can also, that nurture builder that I just showed, you can actually define different types of nurture campaigns, where if I'm a sales rep, or even on the customer service side, I'm a customer service person, I can go in here and add someone to a specific campaign. So if, let's say we have a customer on the phone, they say, I'm not really sure about how to do this with a product, or I'm not really sure about something. Can you send me some info? You could put them in a campaign specifically targeted at a product, and you could tell them, hey, I'm going to put you on something, I'm going to send you some tips and tricks every week for the next 4 weeks. How's that sound? So that's a little bit on the Sugar Market side. I'm going to now pivot over to Sugar Cell. So Sugar Cell, what I'm doing now is I'm just logging in as Chris Oliver, and there's a couple things I'm going to touch on here from a sales perspective, and then I'll close off on the service side. So right now, Zach was talking a lot about subscription-based, the effort to start building a lot more subscription-based options inside of Sugar. And this is part of it is the renewals console. If I click through here, there's a couple different tabs. I can see different opportunities. I can also see different accounts. And I can also see renewal information, annual recurring revenue, especially software companies. That's a big deal now, is what their annual recurring revenues are. So this kind of gives a heads up for me as logged in as this user on what kind of information I can see. As I kind of look through the top here, let's go take a lead, for instance, and let's go look at Elon Musk, for instance, as an example. I don't have a lot of data in here, but we talked a little bit about Hint. So I've just opened up Hint on the right-hand side here to show Elon Musk. And as you can see, we're pulling in a lot of data about Elon. And we can see some news, some information about Tesla. So this is kind of a nice, quick way to get, and all I needed was his name and email address to do that. But what I can do is I can click on a button here, and this is enriching our record inside of Sugar. I'm pulling all the data in automatically with a click of a button. By doing that, it allows me to do more reporting. inside of Sugar itself. So that's a quick way of pulling in data. And then if I want to continue along the process, if I want to, let's say I'm talking to Elon and we've decided, he's a good prospect. We think we might be able to do business with him. We'll convert him into an opportunity. So let's just quickly convert. If you don't know what conversion is, every business is a little bit different, but converting a lead technically is you've qualified them as a lead. So it's you've called them, you've talked to them, and now you've decided that there's a chance to do an opportunity with them. So from there, I'd go and actually convert Elon over into an account contact in an opportunity. So basically, a lead is now available as to start actually pursuing as a sales opportunity. So if I now go to accounts, I can see Tesla's there, we have Sugar there, and a few other things. What I'm going to do is show you a couple other examples. So let's open up MTM Investments. You can see Hint, it's doing its work over here. There's no news in the specific client right now, but I can see along the left-hand side, there's a lot of data on this particular account. And I want to point out the customer journey plugin that Zach also pointed out and discussed a little bit. Customer journey is available on accounts. It's available on opportunities, on cases, every module. And the idea is to define a lot of predetermined steps that have to do with working with this account. So on account, you might want to set up, say, an account management program. So I could go in here and say, add a yearly account planning program to the customer. I click on that and add this in. And what it'll do is it'll load in all the stages for the actions that the account rep needs to take. So I can see in quarter one, I need to do the following steps. And then as I move through the process, I can just check them off, marking them completed as I work through the steps. And then I can go to the next quarter, et cetera. And all of these are activities related to calls, meetings, tasks, all inside of this particular record. So that's on the customer journey piece. So as you kind of move through a sales process too, there's also on the opportunity side, there's some other features that are starting to come out and also available for on-premise as well. There's things like tile view. So this is going to be available in Sugar 10 release coming up too for on-premise customers. But now it's click and drag. Those that have had our visual sales pipeline in the past, we had a similar product like this a couple of years ago that we've decommissioned, but this is taking it to a whole new level. So you can do it by time or by sales stage, drag and drop opportunities throughout. So this is really cool and really powerful and great for running sales meetings too. You can use this from a visual perspective. Talking a little bit about quoting, or actually, let me just quickly walk into here. I'm mindful of time, so I'm going to go a little bit quicker here. So I want to point out that even on opportunity side of things too, we can also put in the different steps that are required for an opportunity. So it's not just about account management. So there can be different scenarios and different journeys depending on the type of record and type of activity you're doing. So I could go in here and say, well, this is a quick deal, or it's maybe I have to go for the full sales process. But again, you could just go in there and quickly add in all the steps. So what takes a couple seconds because loading in all the tasks and calls and things, but no different. Here's all the tasks that we need to go through to actually do an opportunity. And conversely, let me just, I'll pop over to cases in 2 seconds here, because there's also cases we'll do on there as well. And last but not least, I just want to touch on the quotes module. So on the quote side of things, this is the quotes module as far as being able to have product catalogs loaded right into your CRM. The other cool thing about this is if you have an ERP with your own product catalog already, we can integrate that into Sugar. So you can easily have all that information directly inside of Sugar. So if I'm a sales rep, I'm clicking here and I'm adding products as I go along quickly and easily without having to really spend too much time. I can search it. I can organize it by folders, whatever you want to do. So it's really flexible that way. So I'm now going to pop over to the SugarServe because I did want to touch on a couple of things there. So we're just going to hop out and we're going to log in as Melissa. So as Zach said, this is a new product as of last summer, and it's huge. I think it's really brought some new UI enhancements to Sugar that I think a lot of customers really, really like. What you're looking at right now is a service console, and it's no different than your standard dashboards that we have today. Obviously, they're set up and ready to go out of the box, but the cool thing is when you get into the actual console itself. So this list view is organized to by priority and by status and follow-up so that you know what's most important to deal with right now. I can also click on here to edit in the new tab, just as I would in today's world, to go in there to edit a case. But where the real power is I can live inside of this console. So I've opened up this case. I can start working through this case. I can make some comments up here as I'm working through. I can see all the case interactions down here. So a day ago, this person attended the Analyst Quadrant Summit. I can see the company information down here. I can edit it from here. I can also manage the tasks, contact, and any documents that are related to this case right from here. So it's really powerful in terms of being able to manage your caseload directly from your dashboard. So as you click through, you can jump through different cases just by clicking through down the list. Now, finally, as I mentioned, the use case around using customer journey inside of cases as well is also applicable. So if there's common troubleshooting steps that we have to go through inside of a customer journey, so it's not just about selling, it also can be part about supporting. What are certain things and steps that have to happen, whether a great example would be a warranty return. So if you're selling physical products that have warranty, you can then use this to actually pull back any kind of basic troubleshooting steps, but also steps that need to happen in order to process an RMA or whatnot too. So there's a lot of cool features with regards to that. And just to hit on a couple things, knowledge base. So this knowledge base inside of Sugar is what drives the Sugar customer portal, and that's where customers can go. They can start typing in predictive questions, and the system will then feed back anything from the database that might be relevant to their query, or allow them to generate a case on the fly. But it allows them to be more in control. As I talked about in the outset about customer experience, they can go in and help themselves, but if there's not enough information there, then that's where they can go and ask more questions directly through your case queue. And last but not least, I'm just going to log in as admin, and we're definitely not going to go into detail about this, but Sugar BPM is, if you have Sugar Enterprise on premise, or if you are in the cloud with Sugar Sell or Serve, this is where a lot of the power is in automation. We can build everything from, let's pull up an example here, a lead routing processor. So this is a visual designer to allow us to actually build out process and rules inside of Sugar to allow us to allocate, whether in this case it's a new leads created, we're doing assignments based on regions to individuals. But we can build all kinds of complex workflows and notifications, and also integrate with third-party systems through API directly through Sugar BPM. So there's a lot of cool things that we can do on the BPM side of things. So that's a lot to cram in over 30 minutes on the demo. Like I said, I'm going to send out some videos specifically around Sugar Market and Sugar Discover. But if anyone's looking for a little bit more in-depth demo, Declan or myself are more than happy to walk you through these specific demos. So just to kind of wrap up here, we have a couple minutes. If you do have questions, there's a Q&A button on the bottom. I'm happy to answer some questions if I can. And then we'll close up here. I just have one last slide on some resources and things to expect from us. Let's go here. So yeah, so the last couple things is, oh, hold on here. Couple things. So as I mentioned, I'll have a Sugar Discover and Sugar Market full demo video links coming out. They're just on YouTube. So I'll be sending those out so you guys can see a little bit more full in-depth view of that. There will be a recording of this webinar available as well. And I promise that SugarWest Roadshow is coming. We're really excited to get in front of everyone and actually do some learning I think it'd be good for people to actually get a good hands-on view of what sugar is, and also learn a little bit more about sugar and what it's capable of. So I don't see any questions coming through. So if that's no questions, then I will assume that we're good for today. And I just want to thank Zach, Chris, Declan for being on the call today. And thanks to all of you for tuning in from your homes and wherever you're at. Very much appreciate it. So I'll look forward to some emails and look forward to talking to everyone soon.